Yeah!
Hey, it's Josh Williams here, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 94 for February 27th, 2019. How's it going, onesies? How you guys doing? I almost said episode number 27. Ha! That would have been a long time ago, wouldn't it? Episode 94. Guys, we're rounding third, heading home towards 100 episodes of the One Man Podcast. This week, I'm going to tell you guys about my week headlining at Absolute Comedy. I did some promos. There's been some big news in the comedy community, and not necessarily positive. I would say that it's actually, quite frankly, not positive. I'll tell you guys a little bit that that's kind of what's consuming my industry right now, and at least in Canada. And what else? I had a chance to hang out with some friends, have some good times. So let's just fucking get right into it, huh? As you all know, I was headlining Absolute Comedy this last week in Ottawa, my home club. First time, had an absolutely fantastic time all week. I want to thank every single one of my listeners that came out to the shows. I really appreciate you guys being there and supporting. It's great to be with you every week in your ear, and it's even better to be able to see you and find out how you're doing and all that fun stuff. So thank you so much for coming all the shows. I won't name names, but I just, a couple friends who I saw, of course, I'll mention the hangouts, but there's a lot of people just came to see the show. Big thank yous to all of you. I really do appreciate the support. And I'll tell you again, a little later on in the show, it has to do with that big industry thing, why your support is so important. I know that, the world's a fucked up place. Everybody's got things going on. But now more than ever, we as comics, need you guys to come to our shows and support if you like what we do. But I'll get to that a little later on, a little foreshadowing. So, last week I had a couple opportunities to do some fun things. I went and I had breakfast with my buddy, Rory Gardner, a fellow comic. Rory and I are going to try to get some writing done and whatnot. So I keep saying that and I keep having issues and stuff. My back is starting to get better. I actually saw the doctor today and I'll tell you more about that later on. But I got a prescription for some meds. So we'll see what I can do about, getting these pains gone so I can be a little more productive with my life. Hung out with Rory. The shows were good. I want to get that out of the way. So I got to see my buddy and listener Peter, Ivan, and Stuart. Those guys were at one of the shows this week. Crystal came with me to a couple of the shows. I really appreciated that. It was fun to have her support, especially since I haven't actually had an opportunity for her to be at the shows in a long time, and since like half my act is about her and the kids. It was great to have her out. I got to see my half brother Brandon, who I haven't seen in, I cannot tell you how long. Some of you might actually at this moment be like, oh my God, you have a half brother. I actually have two half brothers and a half sister. As a matter of fact, I think I spoke about my half brother maybe a year ago when he was trying to reconnect. I have a half brother Brandon. I have a half brother Wayne. So Wayne's in BC. Wayne was the one connecting with me, maybe more than a year ago. Just trying to meet me and learn who I am. Whenever we had really no contact, but he was sort of going through the family tree and the Rolodex and got in contact with me. So I think it was through the miracles of Facebook. And of course I reconnected with my brother Brandon via Facebook, but just a few Facebook messages here or there. We actually had an opportunity to have a conversation when I was driving back from Toronto after Valentine's Day. So, it was cool to chat with him a little bit. And, of course, just hang out after one of the shows. It was busy between shows, so I didn't get a chance to really be like, hey man, let's chat. It was kind of like people are coming and going, comics are coming and sitting down at the table with us. So like the conversation just started going about what's going on around us, as opposed to being able to get to know each other. And of course it came after I did a double show on Saturday. So we had an upstairs show and a downstairs show at Absolute Comedy. And I hosted downstairs. And as soon as I got off stage downstairs, I went right upstairs to headline upstairs. So basically, it's like 90-minute straight marathon of doing stand-up. Fun, great to make the extra money, but it was work. I'll tell you that much, guys. It was work. And then, of course, after that double feature, I got to sit with Brandon, and it was just a little too crazy. So we're going to get together again sometime soon and just try to catch up and learn a little bit about each other. Brandon is my, as all my half brothers and sisters are on my dad's side. My mom, I just have just me and my other brother. Aaron. Most of you know anyways. But yeah, so that was fun. What else have I got going on? trying to get the show stuff out of the way. I had a good time. I actually got to play around with some new bits on stage that I'm really, really happy about. I had a really good time sort of just fitting some stories into where they might go. Crowds were some of them were up, some of them were down. Just energy levels, like even the shows with the low energy, like we all did well. Just, I remember I had one show this week where I was like, I didn't feel good afterwards. And then of course, Jason and everyone else was like, dude, you did way better than you think you did. It's just, you're your own worst critic. My first time headlining my own club, I wanted to absolutely knock it out of the park. And I did that for the vast majority of the week. I just had a couple shows where I'm like, fuck, I just really like, I would have loved to have, I've done shows where when I say good night, the crowd goes, "Aw," like they wanted more. I wanted one or two of those this last week. That doesn't happen very often, by the way, but that's what I wanted from my home club. So sorry, I'm shaking up a beverage here. I'm recording Tuesday as always, but I'm doing it late in the evening. It's probably 8 o'clock or something. Let me take a look here. Yeah, it's 10 after 8. Of course, you guys will be hearing this on Wednesday. So, I'd love for this one to stay on the trend of being under an hour like the rest of them are, but, I just feel like there's a lot to talk about. So I'm going to try to get it out of the way. And you guys can decide what's interesting and what's not. So is any of that shit funny? Not really. What did I do? I did stand up. I do what I always do, but I did have fun. It was fun kind of being on, thinking on my feet and getting some new material out there, polishing up some of the old stuff, just being a comic again, man. It's fun. I'll be mindful of that man stuff. Man, like all my listeners are men. How you doing, they? You know what I'm saying, they? Make it nice and gender neutral. What else did I do? Let me get some of the other stuff. Last week, I went to one of those. I don't know about you guys. I was telling my doctor this today. I was saying, how like it used to be that if you saw a commercial, a ton of people saw that same commercial, right? They advertise on a network or something like that. Like, you could talk about a Coke commercial and everyone's seen the same Coke commercial, generally speaking. But I'm referring generally to when like everyone had TV. You know what I mean? Like you all, if you're all watching, I don't know, fucking Seinfeld, right? And there'd be commercials the whole time. Like you see that a lot now when you're watching shit on YouTube, whatever. It's like the same commercials. Actually, this is not validating my point. Okay. If you're watching something on TV, the commercial that plays on that channel, it's the same commercial that everybody sees, right? So you could say, hey man, you see that advertisement for fucking blabbity bloobity blabbity? And people, yeah. It's like everyone kind of knew what you were talking about the ads. I'm like, I'm thinking of doing that, blah, blah, blah. Now that everything is targeted ads, you know what I mean? Like I said to my doctor, I'm like, I got these ads everywhere for this and that. Have you seen? He's like, no. Then again, he did go on later to tell me that he's like fucking totally off the grid and shit. So bad example with him. But like I could talk to other people like, hey, you guys know this stuff that's ad? And they're like, no. Because now that everybody's fucking phones are listening to them and their Alexas and all this bullshit, you're getting targeted advertisements. I'm saying to my doctor, I'm like, yeah, earlier this week I went to like that Smile place, Smile Direct Club to get internet teeth. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Again, I just thought he was nuts, but it turns out he's, doesn't have TV or anything. I'm like, oh, I get that. He's like, I have an email address, but I don't really, he's like, I don't own a television and stuff. I'm like, man, you're the best. I'm going to get into that guy later on too. But, yeah, so I've been getting these ads for like Smile Direct, because Jason has, like those Invisaligns or some brand of them where it's just, clip in the teeth and, they fix your teeth in God knows how long. And Jason has to keep going to the dentist and he pays consultations and whatever. He was telling me the price. I'm like, fuck, well, that's way cheaper than I thought. Like when I was young, I was like, oh, fuck, orthodontics like $4,000. I'm like, I don't have that. I don't have a dental plan. I don't have benefits. I'm a comic. So if I want to do something to better myself like that, laser eye surgery or some shit that comes right out of my pocket. So I'm like, all right. I see the Smile Club thing and it's like, hey, $99 a month, and I'm like, oh, tell me more. Click. Right. And then, then what did I do? I found out there was a clinic here. So it's like, it's one of those things where they're like, you have a choice. Did you want to visit one of our local clinics to get your mouth scanned? Or do you want us to send you like the do-it-yourself package? And like the do-it-yourself one is like those old school foam trays where they used to fill them with fluoride and then you'd bite down on it for like 20 minutes with that fucking straw. That suction straw in between, the one where you sit there like fucking drooling. The drool's going over the outside of the thing, but for some reason that suction's in the back in the middle. So your throat's drying out. You're drooling like a Saint Bernard. You're like, and then you stick your tongue on it. You know what I'm talking about? So like, I'm just picturing that. They're like, we're going to send you the home do-it-yourself one, right? And I'm like, great. If I have to measure my own teeth, I'll probably like pull it out too quick or too slow and it sort of bends the mold last minute. Then they send me fucking, you know, I commit to their trays and I've got like the tooth bent the wrong way or something. I don't know. I'm sure you get what I'm saying. If I have to measure my own teeth, with my luck, I'm going to fuck it up somehow. And then they're going to send me trays that are going to like half fit. I'm going to go, oh, they probably feel weird because it's straightening my teeth. But because of my little bend or fuck up or however I messed it up doing it myself, it actually ends up bending my teeth worse. And I'm like, oh, it's not working. And they're like, oh shit, when you go the other way, there's actually no cure for that. So I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm going into your clinic and I'm going to have a professional measure my teeth. And she measured it with some like crazy state-of-the-art thing that takes like 60,000 pictures a second or whatever. She's like, there's only one thing on the planet that like takes pictures faster or whatever, and she didn't know what it was called. So I'm like, all right, well, thanks for that piece of trivia. You know when someone gives you a piece of trivia, but they don't give you all the information for said trivia? So anyway, she's sticking a camera in my mouth and just rolling it around along my teeth, and I was just watching the screen next to it. It was basically building my mouth on the screen like a 3D composite. And I was like, holy shit. So yeah, so she scanned my face and she's like, it's this much. And we do the whitening and it's all part of the package, $99 a month. And I was like, fuck it. You know what I mean? I go, I'm working on confidence and stuff like that. I want to have not that I don't have a killer smile already, but I'm like, I want to have a nice smile. There's a lot of people in my life with really nice smiles. Crystal has one of the nicest smiles I've ever seen. That's not to suck her dick or anything like that. I'm just saying in general, one of the things that always attracted to me about her is her smile. Even my best friend Jimmy said when I first introduced him to her when we were kids back in high school, he used to always say, man, she has perfect teeth. So I got to say, not to be too judgmental, we've all got shit out there. But first off, like a bunch of the people that I know all had dual income families and shit like that. So a lot of them, just their parents had, had dental plans and shit. So like, I think Jimmy had braces at one point. Mika had braces at one point. Crystal did have braces at one point when she was young. So like everybody I know with perfect smiles had fucking braces, obviously. So I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm 36. I'll be dead in 4 years. I deserve to have good teeth, at least along the way. Just slowly start climbing that ladder of confidence. And I feel like if I have these Invisalign, Smile Club, whatever the fuck you call them, I feel like it's going to help me eat less because you have to take them out all the time to eat and stuff. And I'm not going to want to be doing that. And like, not to say that I do a lot of snacking, but just generally speaking, it's just like, fuck it. Have like 3 set times to eat: breakfast, lunch, dinner. And then that's it. No drinking stuff either, because like, you got to take them out to drink. And if I'm constantly taking them out, then what's the point? So, and I got like a whitening thing I'm going to be doing too. So I don't know. It's a thing, you know, start to feel more confident. Feel like I have maybe get some laser eye surgery done down the road. The point is I'm working on me. I went and I got internet teeth. All right. And I call them internet teeth because I don't have to keep going back to a dentist. They mail me the whole set. All the weeks are labeled, everything like that. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they don't break my teeth out of my head or something that is unforeseen, but they're a really big company from the US who have just in the last few months broken into the Canadian market. So that's one thing I did this last week. I got to hang out with Crystal on Friday. Her and I went to the Lindt store. I got a nice Groupon, a little plug for Groupon, even though most of their stuff sucks for the record and they're full of shit in their prices, but got a good deal at Groupon. For some Lindt chocolates. We went to the Lindt store, got a bunch of chocolate right after saying how I want to take care of my teeth and my body. Wow, did I ever do the opposite thing? No, I've been having like 1 or 2 pieces a day. I've been a good bitch. I've been a what? A good bitch. What else do we do? Oh, big shout out. I'm talking about this. We played a game. We played a board game before my shows on Friday called Fog of Love. And it sounds lame. However, one of the coolest games I've played. We didn't even get to finish it. Like there's a tutorial. We didn't even get through the tutorial. Like you actually play through the instructions of the game, which is great. Instead of just reading an instruction manual, you actually play the game and the game slowly starts to reveal these tutorial cards. So you'll play a few little parts and then you get another card that tells you what the next step is. And then you play a little bit more and it tells you the next step. Like it's very, very cool the way it's done. And the game's theme is great. You play as a couple and you're trying to see if your relationship works. And the goal of the game is not to make your relationship work. The goal of the game is to just play out the relationship and see if you stay together, see if it ends. You make choices where you're both flipping over tokens to decide, sort of what options, like multiple choice, but what option did you pick and did your choices match? But you're not playing as yourself. You're playing as this character that you design with different characteristics and traits and a job. And even the game is even genderless. I'm not going to go on for crazy ever, but I will just say, it's a 2-player game. Crystal and I played it. We had a really, really good time, and we didn't even finish the tutorial, let alone get to play the full game. And we were already like, this is fucking awesome. Every review I've seen for this game says that it's fantastic. So, and it's only about $50 if you order it online. So that sounds like a lot of money for a game, but I got to tell you the replayability. And apparently this game is very, very fun just to watch. So if 2 people are playing, but you have a few people over, like people watching this relationship and the scenarios and stuff, apparently really have a good time watching the game play out. So I do have to say that anyone who's looking for something fun, a fun couples activity, a fun just friend thing, because it's like I said, it's not a heteronormative game. You can be any gender. The relationship is not necessarily heteronormative. So yeah, great game. Fog of Love. I can't wait to play it again and actually finish it in its entirety. I've already even ordered expansions for it, just because I'm like, this is great, and I know I'm going to want to play it a bunch. So, Fog of Love, check that out. Crystal and I had a great time playing it. We had some wine, got to drink a bottle I've been hanging on to here for a little while from Wolf Blast called The Entertainer, and it was like a Shiraz Grenache mix, or whatever. Anyways, it was great. It was great. Drank a bottle of The Entertainer before my show in honor, and played some Fog of Love. So that was a good time. Anything else? Did some LCBO promos this weekend. I don't really give a shit about that. I went to the casino with Jason last night, and again, we just had some food, some drinks, gambled some money, had a good time. Jason lost a lot of money, but I didn't. I went and I got free drinks and free food from our comp cards, from all the money that we spent there. And then on top of that, what else? Come on, brain. I think that was about it for our night. Some drinks, had some laughs. We played, whatever. We played a shitload of slot machines. We actually played a shitload of roulette and blackjack, and no blackjack last night. We played roulette and what the fuck is the name of the one? Three card poker. That was a pain in the ass. That game was stressful. It was a pain in the ass, but I didn't lose money. I actually made money on it. So, I guess it's good. Even when I'm making money, I'm complaining. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing a little bit of trying to take it easy during the days, watching some videos, trying to clean my little corner of the earth here. I had a bunch of stuff cargo come in. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. It's the end of the day. I tried to do it earlier, but today was a long day, and I'll tell you about that. So yeah, I went to the casino. I didn't get home from the casino with Jay till like 2 a.m, and then I had to get up early today because today I was getting a new horn installed in my car. Same place that did my window tinting. And I got to say, I don't know if I mentioned them by name before. I'm not going to mention them by name now. Only reason is I don't know if I'm giving them a glowing review or a what the fuck review. And the reason being is I went in to get my horn installed. I bought it last week. I went in to get it installed this morning. And I'm just going to tell you the story honestly. I like those guys. They're always very respectful, polite, professional. Their place is great, clean. It's gorgeous. Problem is, they told me it was going to be an hour and a half, and I had a doctor's appointment today. Luckily, I booked it far enough ahead of the doctor's appointment that the fact that they took 3 hours instead of an hour and a half didn't make me miss my doctor's appointment, but it did waste, a lot of the extra spare time that I had today. Because I was planning on coming home and, recording the podcast before all my running around and errands and work and stuff. And that didn't happen. So, went in, they installed my new horn, and one of the guys that works there was even like, "Hey, want me to come out and take a look at it with you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we go out and I honk it, and I'm like, "Oh, sounds great. Like it sounds louder than my last horn and not as effeminate." One sec here. Excuse me. So, anyways, honk the horn. Oh, all's good. Cool. And my car, when you double click the lock on the fob, it just goes beep. It doesn't actually honk. It doesn't go beep. Like it doesn't honk the horn. It just goes to the beep sound. Completely different audio source altogether. I can't make a beep sound. It sounds like when a truck's backing up, but just like one of those beeps. So you know it's not a horn, it's something different. So one thing I have not done with my vehicle since I bought it is push the panic button on the fob. I had no reason to ever, so I never pushed it. Well, I got to the bank after I left and was like, I wanted to like obviously honk my new horn. It's supposed to be very loud and everything, but I'm like, I'm not going to just start blasting it in traffic, scaring people, distracting people. You know, I'm not a piece of shit. So I went to my bank and I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna fuck with the horn. I want to hear it again, right? I just bought it, just paid $250 for it. I want to fucking hear it. So I press and hold the panic button and I just see my taillights flash. And I'm like, well, I wonder, I've never done it. So I'm like, I'm looking at it, it says hold. Okay, so I press and hold. I'm holding it and the lights start flashing. I'm waiting for the horn to come on. It doesn't fucking come on. So sure enough, I call the guys back and I go, hey, my panic button's not working. There's no horn at all. And they're like, huh, that's weird. You know, can you bring it back tomorrow? And I'm like, sure, why not? I hate fucking spending my time off at home relaxing. I would much... Sorry, it's a thick fucking smoothie, Pete. Peter's like, I hate listening to you drink. But I have to wet the whistle a little bit here. I'm going to be chatting tonight. So anyways, they're like, yeah, bring it back tomorrow. It's really strange. It should be fun. We like the guy who helps me. He's always very polite. He's like, yeah, we definitely don't want it to be missing features it had when it came in. That's for sure. I'm like, yeah, me neither. So now I'm a little fucking, now rather than be like, okay, I got something done. Now I'm like fucking 3 hours. It's not even where I have to go back again anyways. What's tomorrow going to take in terms of time? So I dropped off some shit at Staples that I needed to get like printed and laminated and stuff like that. And, I remember, what was I just had enough time to drop it off, go home and then just change to go to the doctor's. But it was frustrating. It was really frustrating because I'm like, that's where I'm at right now. The horn works. Oh, and they also left a tool on my hood, like in my hood, I should say, sitting right between the windshield wiper blades and like the little trough, right? You know, the ones like where you're fucking, sorry for swearing, the windshield spray is. I'm not trying to swear too much, but I am frustrated. I was frustrated. This is not real problems. But here's the thing. I contacted Chris from Honda, my dealer who's been on the show before. I called him. And Chris was telling me, like, I asked him what happened. He goes, well, here's the thing. Now that you put an aftermarket horn in, your warranty's void on your horn. Like, it's not our shit anymore. So your warranty's void on that. I'm like, never really had a horn issue before, but it would suck if something happens. And now, especially considering something has happened and it's not working, that it's not warrantyable anymore because these guys, you know, have done work on it. That was something I should have considered. And to be honest with you, a little bit, they probably should have said, hey man, brand new car, just a heads up. If we work on your shit, voids your warranty, you cool with that? You know, never mentioned that. I can let that sort of thing go, but I have now done 2 jobs with them and I've had to go back again afterwards on both of these jobs. So not looking good for these guys in terms of just being able to get the job done. And when I went to get the retint, I left and they left a big roll of tint in the back. So I had to bring them their tint back. Luckily, it was just at the edge of the fucking driveway when I noticed this big roll in my back seat. But big roll there. They also left a razor blade in my cup holder. Luckily, it had a sheath on it, but it was like just a razor blade sitting there, obviously from stuffing the tint into the cracks of the windshields or whatever, I guess, or the windows, I should say. So it's already like, what the fuck? And then they left this tool. I don't even know. It looks like a screwdriver that has a hook on the end of it. You know what I mean? And it's just sitting in the trough. I walk up, see it. I go, you guys want this? Like, they keep leaving tools in or on my car. You know, inside my car, I actually have a couple little slits and scratches and like chemical burn / glues. I don't know how to describe all the shit, but you can tell someone was in my car and not being careful. Again, not the end of the world. Just fix it. Just do what I'm paying you to do. All right. I don't hate these guys because here's the thing. Their front end dudes are great. Whoever's monkeying around in the back, you know, what are you doing? Fuck. What the fuck are you doing? So I'm going back tomorrow and let's see if they just fix it and whatever. Or, you know, I actually was there one time when a customer came in and was saying that, like, it's so funny because when this guy was talking about it, man, it felt I was just having them do the tint at the time, so I didn't think anything. I'm like, oh, I can't break my car doing the tint. But it's funny. Some guy was in talking about how like he was at his dealership and he had something done there, and it was like, well, the dealer's telling that something got disconnected, and you know, it's not. They didn't disconnect it. You know, it must have been when you guys were doing the work here. Well, sir, we don't need to disconnect that in order to do that work. So I don't know why they're saying it was us. Like, you know what I mean? I saw them arguing with a customer about what was done. And I'm like, you know, maybe this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But I'm in a position now where I can go tomorrow and they're like, well, we just disconnected the thing and connected the same thing right back, you know? So I don't want to be arguing with them going like, why isn't this working? You know, just putting in a fucking horn, you know, connect the shit back together, make it right, you know, test it to make sure that it's working. So anyways, hopefully I go in tomorrow and they're like, you know what? We just missed something on these new vehicles. There's a little thing here we forgot to do. I don't give a fuck what the reason is. Make it work. You know, if I'm spending money, it shouldn't be to reduce features on my cars, right? Anyways, so that's a thing I'm doing. Then I got to the doctor's this afternoon and I went there for to get something for my back. My back is still not better 12 days later. It's doing better, but not by a lot. I would say it's 40% better from what it was, but 12 days afterwards, it should be, I would say, gone, unless I injured myself, but from just standing. Anyways, went to the doctor to A, get that done, and B, get that sebaceous cyst on my back removed. I figured if I'm going to the doctor anyways, may as well have him remove that shit and give me something for the back. So him and I were pretty much on the exact same page right from the get-go regarding my back. I was like, I'm on it. I think I just heard it. And he's like, yep, that's pretty much all it is. I'm like, I figure I need to relax enough to let it, you know, go. So, but since it hurts, I'm favoring it. I'm tight on it and probably not giving it the space it needs. And I go, so my assumption is I just need, you know, I need a painkiller so that I fucking relax a bit. And then he goes, absolutely. I'll get your prescription. Shouldn't be a problem. So we're same page for that. And then we were doing this, then I was doing the, I guess, oh yeah, with the cyst removal. I'm sorry. I was trying to think of the procedures. So there's two things he said he could do. One of them, he was saying that like it would leave a big scar. He goes, what we can do is we just basically cut you open and we cut all around the cyst and we cut all that sac out and there's like an extra bunch of flesh that comes out or whatever. I'm paraphrasing, but then we stitch you up and he goes, you have a big scar, but at least the cyst is gone. Okay. Cause I don't know if I described this in the podcast, but again, with the cyst is a clogged pore, the sweat still builds up inside it and just gets big and turns into whatever the size your cyst is. And it also develops the sac around the outside. You know what I mean? Kind of grows a sac so that if you drain it, the sac just fills back up again. And you just keep having the same issue over and over. Drain, pop, drain, fill, right? And every time you drain it, you run the risk of infection or something like that. So it's just, you know, it's no way to live your life. Okay. That's just disgusting. You trying to make fucking back sweat cheese. Blech. So I'm just like, you know what? You told me you could do it. So he said there's the one way is you cut the whole fucking thing, blah, blah, blah. He goes, there's another way that you can cut it, drain it. And sometimes you can actually grab the sac and pull it out too. If it's, you know, if it's not too big, and mine wasn't crazy big. So, we did that, shoved a needle in my back, numbed my shit and cut me open. I barely felt the prick of the needle. However, I could feel, which was weird. Like it just felt like a little bit of a burn, but I could feel how specific and tight it was. I could just feel him cutting with the scalpel, you know, I was like, oh, it was sort of weird. I could feel him take the corner, you know what I mean? Like go straight and then curve like, anyways, so that happened. I didn't cry. So he did that and he was like, everything's perfect. And then he said, then he gave me a choice. He's like, do you want me to stitch you up or did you want me to use stereo something or other? It was like, basically like, it's like a stitch Band-Aid. And he goes, so, you know, plus side of the stitches, you know, it's going to be a smaller scar. Downside is you got to come back in a week to get the stitches out. And then he goes, alternatively, I use this other thing here. It might hold, you know, it might hold, but, you'll have like a bigger scar, you know, a wider scar because it's not going to hold it super tight together. And on top of that, he goes, you got hair on your back. So this thing might not be able to stick through it. And he goes, you know what? Hold on. I could shave your back. And then that'll like, not my whole back, of course, because I could shave you there. And then, you know, then it should give you a better chance of sticking. He goes, you know what? I'm talking myself. I think we're going to go the don't have to come back route. Maybe he goes, do you mind if you have like a scar like the size of a centimeter? I'm like, nah, I don't give a fuck. You just told me I have a hairy back that grows fucking cheese lumps on it. You think like a centimeter long scar is going to fucking bother me? So I was like, yeah, let's do this. So he's like, yeah, we got everything. We're good. One of the things I like about my doctors, here's the thing. I don't know if I've talked about this guy before, but what I like about my doctor is I was telling that thing to him too about the internet teeth or whatever. And he was saying how like, yeah, I'm not on the grid or whatever. Like he goes, it was a very small, like he doesn't have a TV. He goes, I do a lot of reading. I'm very outdoorsy. Like the guy runs in marathons and cycles and all sorts of shit like that. And I'm like, this is what I love about this guy. I don't know how fucking old he is, but I would say he's no way he's even 40 yet. I would be blown. Well, yeah, I got to say, I would be pretty fucking surprised if this guy was even 40. All right. So I like the fact that like he's going to be around. And I liked this before, but just a little thing that actually came up in my life and I never mentioned it is my doctor, my family doctor that I had when I was a kid, he retired, which is why I didn't have a family doctor for a long time. He was an old guy, but he passed away like a week ago, maybe more. That really sucks. He was a great dude. He did a lot for the community. It really sucks. My doctor, Horace Alexis, died, and it really shamed. He was a fellow. He was an African-American fellow. Fellow. You know why I'm saying that? Because I don't really remember. I'm afraid that I'm going to get his nationality wrong, and I don't want to show him. So I don't believe he's African. I believe he is from Haiti. I believe, but again, maybe Jamaican. Right now, this even sounds worse. Listen, I loved this guy. Loved him so much I didn't even know where he's from. Now, I could ask my mom and find out, but it doesn't matter. The point is he used to do something called the Black Canadian Scholarship Fund. There was a big fundraising dinner. They would sell tickets, whatever, and they would send an underprivileged student with good grades to school. They would basically create them, like rather than getting grants or scholarships from the schools or whatever, they would send a deserving youth who couldn't get grants or scholarships to school and paid for it. Like, it was great. I used to volunteer at it every single year. The thing is he died. And that's one of the things that I like about my new doctor being young is I think that a lot of people, they start going to the doctor when they're a kid and doctor's already fucking old and gray, or getting there. You get halfway through your life, your fucking doctor retires or dies and you're like, fuck, I got to find a new one. Who do you suggest? A lot of doctors refer you to somebody, but like, yeah, you don't have to trust with this new person. They don't know who the fuck you are. You know what I mean? It's like breaking up with somebody and then your friend's like, you know what? I know this other person. You're not like, oh, great. You're like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Right? You don't want to, or it's like, it'd be like your ex telling you like, I'm sorry. It's not you, it's me, but I do have this other person I think would be great for you. So I like that this guy's young because I feel like I'm going to die before he retires. So I think I have a chance at a guy who's learning me and learning about me and just fucking sticking with me. You know what I mean? I like that he's off the grid, man. He's outdoorsy and he doesn't have TV. He's talking about how much he reads and stuff. I'm like, this is great. This guy hasn't developed the distaste for people yet. You know what I mean? Like, he comes into town just to help people out, as a doctor. Then he goes back off the grid. He's not watching the fucking Oscars. He's not following the fucking Kardashians on Instagram. This guy's a person. He's intelligent, right? The guy, like, that's what he does. He reads in his spare time. I'm like, oh, you're the guy who's going to fucking find the cure for shit. He's like, I have an email address, but I don't really it's like, so people can communicate with me if they need to, but he's like, I don't have a TV. He didn't say I don't watch TV. He didn't say I don't have cable. He said, I don't own a TV. I love that about this guy. Like, I was always like, I want to build a team of professionals around me. And then if I ever become like, successful, like The Rock or Kevin Hart, I'm trying to think of like some big comic. And I have all that money. I would have said, 2 years ago, I would have said Louis CK, but don't want it like that. So, if you ever make millions of dollars, I'd be like, I would want to fly. I would basically want to relocate my professionals just to be near wherever I am. Because I trust them and I know they give a fuck about me and they'll stay on the ball, But it's funny, man. This doctor, I'd probably still do that, man. I'd be like, hey, man, you got to come down. You got to come down and check me out. I'm in, living in LA. But like, man, you got to come down and see me. I got something going on. I'm like, I wouldn't even have to fly him. The guy's so fucking outdoorsy. He'd probably turn it into like a marathon or triathlon or something. He'd be like, oh, you know, I'm biking down to Los Angeles for see one of my clients. Turn into a big fundraiser or something. That's I think fucking hilarious. Personally, this outdoorsy doctor is smart, doesn't have TV. I think we're gonna go a long way, me and this guy. Like I said, he doesn't hate people yet either. Only sees them. He was saying how like I'm kind of like a just a quiet like keep to myself guy. I'm like, that's awesome. That's awesome. I go, I'm getting older and I'm getting that way. I get my fill from the stage and then I kind of just want to be I don't want to be a curmudgeon, but I just want to be left alone. You know? Excuse me. Sorry for yawning. I'm not putting you back to sleep if you're listening to this in the morning. So that's how my doctor's appointment went. I have to sponge bath myself for the next 24 hours. I'm just not going to. I'm going to go tomorrow morning to the car place stinking. That's their punishment. And then, yeah, I'll come home and fucking shower if I'm allowed. I think I can shower tomorrow afternoon. I think I'm having lunch with Joey and recording a podcast tomorrow. So we'll find out. We'll see what his day looks like. And hopefully I can go for lunch and record a podcast. But yeah, so that was my week, guys. I had a good time. I will say this, the next thing that I'm telling you about is what I was talking about earlier, the foreshadowing. I have not got all the facts. I have got a ton of the information. I will tell you this right now. If you want to know more, if you want to be relatively as much on the same page as I am, go onto Twitter and search the hashtag just for money. Okay. And that will give you all the details that you need to know. But I will tell the story to the best of my abilities. There is a radio station on Sirius XM called Canada Laughs. And apparently even myself, I've been featured on that before from recordings I've done for Sirius and whatnot. A lot of comics all across this country have been featured on Canada Laughs. Ben Miner is the curator. The guy has done a ton of work to make sure that tons of Canadian comics can get their content out there. We can be heard because God knows our company's huge. We have no star system. The government doesn't give us any grants. So one of the big sources of income for a lot of comics is the residuals that they get from having their stuff featured on Canada Laughs. And albums and things, comics are able to produce their own albums and send their stuff to Sirius to get it played. And that was a big thing. A lot of people are making a lot of money. I don't say a lot. A lot of comics are making enough money from residuals and royalties that they don't have to work a day job. You know, they're able to take that money and feed their families and pay for their travel and pay for their, their travel and things like that to do. I don't know if I said that already. I feel like I did, but their families, their travel, their rent, so that they can pursue stand-up. They can pursue their art form and their dream. And what happened recently is that we're talking like less than a week. Just for Laughs, with the initial thing was that Just for Laughs purchased Canada Laughs. And either way, Just for Laughs is now responsible for curating the content. And what they're doing is they're only playing sound clips from their galas, which is the shows that you would see on TV on CBC. Those big shows are the galas. They're only playing galas from before 2012. Like that's it. Now it's just pre-recorded galas, old material on there, which means that all of those residuals and all of that money that was going to comedians for their albums and their work and all that stuff is all going to the owners of Just for Laughs now, which is, I believe, ICM is the name of the talent company. So Just for Laughs a year or so ago got bought by a U.S. company, a talent management company, also owned by Howie Mandel. America's Got Talent, Howie Mandel. Yeah. Former Canadian Howie Mandel. We'll get more into that. So Just for Laughs got bought by an American company, an American talent company, which if it's not obvious to you guys, that means that a Canadian festival that is known for showcasing a lot of Canadian talent and some international talent is now American owned. So there's going to be a lot less Canadian talent and a lot more American talent, especially because of the fact that here's why it's a bit of a conflict of interest. The American company is a talent agency. They want to showcase their talent that they represent because guess what? When they put on shows and they sell tickets, they get a piece of that as the talent agency. So it doesn't make sense for them to put a bunch of Canadians on the shows at Just for Laughs, because why do they want those guys getting more popular? They want more eyes on the guys that they represent, so that when those guys get more popular and sell at arenas and theaters and all that stuff, they make more money. Well, now those same people now own Canada Laughs and are showcasing American and Australian and international talent, stuff that they own the rights to and the royalties, so they make all the money. All that money, those millions of dollars over the course of the year that goes into Canadian comics' pockets for the work that they've done, is now going to Just for Laughs. Just for Laughs also, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, I have mentioned to you guys before that stand-up comedy is not seen as an art form. It's not just not seen, like, oh, here's the opinion. It is not recognized by our government as an actual art form, which means that we are not eligible for grants, any money grants. You can stack rocks in Canada and call that art, and you are eligible for grants, but being funny, something that we're all known for as Canadians, is not considered an art form. However, Just for Laughs does get grants every year. They get grants for like Heritage Canada, you know, this and that. So they actually get usually on average a few $1 million a year in grants from the government. They get Canadian taxpayers' money. All right. I know that a lot of my listeners are young and a lot of people, you know, don't really give a fuck, but your tax dollars, millions of your tax dollars, go to a festival. And did. So not just the fact that Just for Laughs got bought, you know, a year or two ago, but now this festival still gets your tax dollars, millions of them, goes to an American-owned festival that books international comics, which means when they pay those comics, guess whose money they're paying them with? Your fucking money. Your tax money. And now, before where that would have gone to other Canadians and stayed in our country, it goes elsewhere. And now all of the money that Sirius was paying comics is now going to that same company. So what happened was a lot of comics just lost their revenue stream. It was like, basically, think of it like a bunch of comics getting laid off. And it's a really big deal. It's a really, really big deal. It's a shitty move on Just for Laughs. They basically fucked over comedians so that they can get the money. I'm not asking you to care or to give a fuck, but when I was saying thank you to the people who came out and supported and showed their love for me this week at Absolute Comedy in Ottawa, I just want you to know that that means the world. And now that is even more important than it ever was, because there is less opportunity for Canadian comics now to earn a living. So the fact that you guys come out and show that you are happy when we're getting work, you know, so just so you know, like, I love you guys for listening to this podcast. I do appreciate the support in that regard. Wish you'd send a fucking email every now and again. Contact the1manpodcast.com, but I digress. When you guys come to the shows, you're letting those club owners know, hey, if you put this guy on your stage, I'll come buy a ticket. That's really important. It's really, really important, because if you can't draw, they'll pick someone who can. You know, and that makes it even harder to try to earn a living in this fucking business. So, again, thank you to all the people who came out to see my shows. I really appreciate you being there. It surprisingly, you're making a very big difference, very, very big difference of whether or not, you know, guys like me are gonna, you know, and gals are gonna make it in this industry, because we don't get grants. This country's so fucking big, it costs an arm and a leg to travel it a lot. Like, it's basically almost impossible to go from one end of the country to the other for a week and even make any money, you know? And I don't mean make any money like, I grew up with rich kids who would say they were broke when they only had a few $100s. You know, I'm talking, when I say make money, I mean like, you don't make money. You go, yeah, I broke even. I didn't lose any money to go work for a week. What a fucking utopian job that is, eh? Anyways, I'm not trying to be too negative, but I'm trying to really underline the severity of the implications of losing this revenue stream for comics. Now, there's guys who, you know, I talk to, they're saying that they're getting a $5,000 check every few months. It's a big difference. You know what I mean? That $5,000 would pay my rent for quite some time. So to be getting that just off of work you've already done, it allows you to keep chasing this fucking dream and seeing where you can get with it. It's a big difference, and there's going to be more to come if there's more. Howie Mandel actually responded to the outrage, and he was so fucking patronizing and condescending. He didn't even know the name of the channel that they had taken over. And then he gives this really sarcastic look at the camera. He goes, I'm Canadian, so sorry, Canadian comedian. Or he goes, sorry. He goes, Canadian comics, don't worry, you're going to be there. We'll talk to you guys soon. And sorry. Like he's being cute, like Canadians say sorry. And he's walking around his mansion the whole time, too. Like I said, you want to see the stuff, you want to hear that, just go to Twitter. I know it's probably on Facebook too and all that shit, but go to Twitter and search the hashtag Just for Money. You will see all of the comics who've posted and all that shit there. But I will leave it at that. So that was my experiences from the week. Yeah, it's really a shame. Like I said, I mean, I expect you guys to take just take a minute and see what it is, and you'll see people who are much more eloquent than I am, and big names that you'll recognize: Sean Majumder, Ryan Belville, people who have had sitcoms and shit on Canadian television. Like these are big names going like, what the fuck is going on here? Because those guys also, their shit's on the radio station there, but to get a pay cut too. I digress. All right, guys, it's time for the magical Uncle John's bathroom reader. Is it magical? Well, I don't know. It doesn't cast any spells. I'm excited, guys. I'm going to be reading from... I used to print them off, and then I would read them from there, but that's a waste of paper. So why not just mark down the pages, which I do now on my notes, and read the article from there. Just putting a little mark on it here so that I know I've read this one. Oh, behind the scenes strategies. This article is called Cheers. Because I had some wine this week. I thought maybe a little wine trivia. I've been doing LCBO promos again, so lots of wine talk and stuff. Why not just up all of our knowledge of wine? A little something you may want to know about vino. So we propose a toast to these facts about wine. So fact number 1, the idea that wine improves with age isn't necessarily true. Experts say about 90% of wine should be consumed within a year of bottling, while others don't really get much better after 10 years have passed. The varieties that do get better with age: Bordeaux, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Port. Who the fuck is messaging me? Haha. Yeah. I'm not getting that. So, all right. Number 2, the custom of toasting with a glass of wine started in ancient Greece. A host would drink the first glass to show that the wine was safe to drink. 1 acre of grapevines yields about 13.5 barrels of wine. A barrel yields 24.6 cases. A case works out to 48 glasses. So in all, the acre yields 15,940 glasses of wine on average, of course. Next, wine is made almost entirely from grapes, but that doesn't mean it's vegetarian. Many big batch commercial wines are filtered with a process that involves gelatin, which is an animal byproduct. Result, tiny, even microscopic bits of gelatin may be present in a glass of wine. Next, oldest bottle of wine, a bottle dating to AD 325. So 325 years before Jesus was turning water into wine, there was a bottle of wine. It was found near Speyer. I've added the Jesus factors for the record, just so I'm not plagiarizing, right? Some bibliography. Bottle dating to AD 325 was found near Speyer, Germany in 1867. It's now on display in the museum. I wonder what that tastes like. Countries that drink the most wine per capita: Vatican City, France, Portugal, and Italy, which is also the world's biggest producer of wine. Medieval European measurements for wine: a butt, which is about 126 gallons. Also, a butt amounts to half of a ton. T-U-N in this case. Is ton T-O-N? Anyways, 3 more to go. There's an enzyme in the human stomach that metabolizes ethanol, the type of alcohol found in wine. Men's stomachs naturally contain more than women's stomachs. Result, women get drunk on wine a lot quicker than men do. What a fucking shocker. Wine in space. In 1996, Buzz Aldrin brought a tiny vial of wine with him to the moon so he could administer communion to himself. Oh, what a good little church boy. And finally, in a 2017 lawsuit involving actor Johnny Depp and his business managers, it was revealed that Depp spends $30,000 a month on wine. He also has a tattoo that reads "Wino Forever." Hooray. And that is cheers, guys, from Uncle John's Bathroom Reader. Uncle John's Old Faithful Bathroom Reader is the 30th anniversary edition that I'm reading from. The little running feet at the bottom of this one says, Walmart employs more people worldwide than there are people living in New Mexico. Whoa, that's a fun fact. Guys, portablepress.com. Uncle John's Bathroom Readers. They can get all sorts of different kinds, styles, varieties, facts, fun shit. I enjoy reading them, and you would too. Check it out at portablepress.com. Guys, Absolute Comedy, I just had a great week there. My home club. I'm looking forward to announcing some more dates at clubs and one-nighters and some more Absolute dates. Would be so much fun. So, having said that, why don't we talk a little bit, why don't I play a little Absolute Comedy ad, guys? They get great clubs, Toronto, Kingston, and Ottawa. Check out absolutecomedy.ca.
Absolute Comedy is the best live stand-up comedy from across North America, with locations in Kingston, Toronto, and Ottawa, Ontario. These comedians have been featured on Just for Laughs, Netflix, Comedy Central, CBC's The Debaters, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Conan, The Comedy Network, and much, much more. Go to absolutecomedy.ca to see this week's lineup. Planning a night out is easy with dinner and show packages, available at all locations. Live comedy is a great choice if you're organizing a celebration, fundraiser, company outing, or corporate event. Want the show brought to you? They'll send comedians to your venue with performances tailored to your event, creating a night of laughs your guests will love and won't soon forget. So for showtimes, ticket prices, gift certificates, special shows, and more, head to absolutecomedy.ca. Again, that's absolutecomedy.ca for the best live stand-up comedy from across North America.
Hey, and we're back, guys. I was having a fun week at Absolute, drinking some Kronenberg and the occasional Somersby. And Crystal and I shared a couple of White Summers, you know, one of our favorites. That is half Kronenberg Blanc, half Somersby. They got great shit, guys, from my partners at Somersby, Carlsberg, Kronenberg, all that fun shit. You should check it out if you haven't already. And am I forgetting anybody? I never forget them. That's my thing now. Am I forgetting anybody? DK, guys, Dorling Kindersley, DK Books, dk.com/ca, dk.com in the States, or just DK Books if you're googling it somewhere else on the planet. This week, all right, I've been doing a lot of the healthy, trying to eat better stuff, you know, I'm not quite vegan just yet, but I know I'm trying to, I'd like to be vegan. Not so that everybody hates me, but, you know, just because I want to be healthier, right? I don't know if vegans get back cheese zits or whatever the fuck, you know, but I think their body can't afford to just waste it on cysts. But, you know, all vegan busting aside, I am reading a book called Vegan in the House this week. Vegan in the House, flexible plant-based family meals to please everyone. I like that, vegan in the house. You almost say that like a bird flew in. The vegan in the house, guys, open the doors, vegan in the house, shoot away. Vegan in the house, guys. This book, yes, it's a cookbook, meal preparation guide. What I dig about this is it's got a lot of stuff that if you're thinking about going vegan, rather than watching a bunch of videos with some YouTube cunts, you know, it's not just like, hey, being vegan is fun, and catch my breath. Vegan is fun, and no, I gotta bust. So I actually start by teasing and all that, the misconceptions, because this book starts off with a great section on myth busting. Okay, so you know some of the myths. It's not healthy. Vegans are always tired. I just made that joke. Vegan food is boring. A vegan diet is expensive. The food is difficult to prepare. It's impossible to eat out. There's a whole section on the balanced vegan diet. It busts those myths. There's, they talk about macronutrients. They talk about, vitamins and which vitamins are vital to your system. They talk of a big section on vegan substitutes. So there's a lot of things you like. They basically let you know what some of the differences are. They actually have a whole section on how to make the switch. So it's not just like, hey, being vegan's good. This is what you should make. And again, as usual, like I said, a lot of cookbooks just have like a 1 or 2 page intro and go, hey, don't you want to eat vegan? Man, a lot of misconceptions and stuff, but vegan is great. All right. And once you try it, you can't deny it. All right, let's get started. You're like, okay, you know, and then you might try one or two recipes and goes, this sucks. But like anything else, it takes time to sort of make it your own. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of good info in this, and they haven't even had any recipes. They're well into the book before they even start just giving you recipes. So like I said, they have the tips for making the switch. They teach you how to cook for different ages vegan. So they have the young vegan, the fuel for teenagers section. You know what I mean? Like how to set for that. They teach you how to shop for vegan foods. You know, so not just like, hey, here's our recipes, but here's how you shop for it. Here's how to stock your kitchen to maximize for vegan. Of course, the more vegan it is, the faster it's going to go bad. You can't buy a bunch of shit with preservatives and stuff like that. There's still vegan preservative stuff, but for the most part, if you're trying to do it good, you know, here's what you got to get. They teach you how to maximize your freezer, how to do a 7-day meal plan and general meal planning. And then they get into the different recipes and stuff like that. And they got it broken down by different times of day. So breakfasts and brunches, desserts, dinners, you know, stuff to take on the go. There's a great book I've already reviewed called Vegan on the Go, which teaches you how to make vegan meals to go. So this Vegan in the House is a great, a great compendium that is much, much larger hardcover. That's all I'm going to say about this. If you want to check it out, if you're looking to be healthier, I know that I always have a million excuses for why I can't make shit at home, but I am going to try to make some of the recipes in this book. It's hard. Going to the trouble of cooking something real when you're cooking just for yourself. I mean, some of this is excuses. I'm not going to pretend like it's not, but I'll be honest, like cooking and peeling and boiling and mixing and dicing and slicing and stirring and planning and packing and all this shit for just yourself sucks. So what I'm saying is, someone out there wants to marry me so that I can just cook for two. I don't mind if I'm feeding someone else. Let my codependency fucking shine. It's difficult, but I know a lot of you guys are family people, and I know you all having fucking babies. You want them to grow up and not get cancer in the dicks and stuff. So why don't you start early? Huh? Why don't you go, you know what? Maybe this is a great time for me to become healthier and a great foundational time to make my kid strong. So you got your vegan in the house, get out, shoo. And then you got your regular vegan on the go. So vegan in the house, vegan on the go, vegan up your ass. What the fuck are you going to do, huh? Vegan in the house, flexible plant-based family meals to please everyone by my partners at dk.com/ca, dk.com, and DK wherever the fuck else. I love those guys. Their books are fucking awesome. I cannot wait to see what they got coming down next. Everything is constantly blowing my fucking mind with how awesome they are. Now, having said that, it is time for a little touch and go. Who did I pick on this week? You know what? I think I might try my buddy. I don't know if I've ever called Rory before, but I'm going to try calling him right now, see if he's available. He's probably doing a show or something. So let's try Rory Gardner. You know, if I've already called him, well then, sorry. Just like Howie Mandel. Sorry. Let's see how Rory's doing here. Rory, quiet contrary. Might be putting his kids to bed. It's 9 o'clock. It's a little late to call someone, I think.
Hello?
What's up, man? Welcome to the One Man Podcast.
Oh, hey. Are you like live right now?
Not live. I'm recording. Everything that you say is being recorded. Why? Is something bad happening? Are you about to put your finger in somebody?
I just finished, actually. Thanks for...
That a boy. Well, I was just telling the listeners that you and I had a lovely little brunch this week. Wasn't brunch? It was just breakfast, I think. I think brunch means that we're dating. How are things, my friend? I saw you did a show this weekend. Or last night. I don't know what day of the week it is.
There's a show almost every night. It's basically, if it's not an open mic, it's a music show where I play the same songs I've been playing since the 90s.
Not a boy.
I don't learn new things.
But I saw you were on a show with Rick Curry and Colin O'Brien.
Oh yeah, that was Sunday.
Okay. How was it?
It was good. It was the inaugural Colin O'Brien Moose McGuire show. Went okay.
Oh yeah? Where's that location? I thought it said something like McCarthy or whatever.
Yeah, McCarthy. It's one of those places you can't get to by the highway, so it's one of those places.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Well, when you think south is a pain in the ass to get to, like I like Queensway exit things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess for just Ottawa stuff. I thought it was like more of a, when you can't get to it from the highway.
Hey,
Hey, buddy. So yeah, I was telling the listeners here, we're going to try to do some writing and things like that. Get that dream of comedy we both have going. How did squash?
yeah, that sounds great.
How did how did squash go with Jason and Colin? Did you win?
I most certainly did. I mean, they're actually Colin was telling me at the at Moose McGuire's. He called Jason earlier. He's like, "Hey, your butt still hurt from that game?" He's like, "Yeah, it sure does." I'm like, yeah, no, it's honestly, squash is like the funnest thing on the planet to do, and although we're at different skill levels, like it's still beneficial for me because I get out there and break a little bit of a sweat and whatever. It's nice gentlemanly camaraderie.
Squash is your favorite thing in the world to do?
Literally more than anything.
Really? More than sex?
Well, I definitely play more squash than that. So.
Well, I didn't realize that means it's the most fun thing to do. I do a lot of complaining. I don't know if it's that much fun. Maybe it is. Maybe that's my favorite thing to do. Maybe I'm an Olympic level complainer.
Yeah, no. If I had more sex, I'd be more accustomed to it. But alas.
Have you tried the Boy Scouts?
Did I have sex with a Boy Scout? What?
No, that's basically what I'm saying. If you're looking to have more sex, you could join the Boy Scouts.
No. I was thinking about joining the church instead.
Ah, there you go. But see, you'd have to stop. Aren't priests supposed to stop fucking women too? I thought if you're in the Boy Scouts, you get to. Yeah, this is just going to turn into a horrible pedophilia fucking rant. Well, I'm trying to. What? You're a country dude. You just got back from the Grammys.
I did.
Aren't you? Isn't that impressive to people? Right? Aren't women like, oh my god, we should totally have sex? I don't know what women talk about.
I don't know. You should be calling women and asking them about me. I have no idea what would.
Do you want to? Well, I can't think of what women to call that would know you. But I was fully on board with doing that. I'm like, yeah, we should. Who could I? And then I'm like, hey, do you know Rory Gardner? And I would imagine the women that I know would be like, no. And then that would be the end of our fun conversation with them.
Well, it'll still make for a funny conversation, that's for sure.
Hey, I have a friend who went to the Grammys. Want to sleep with him? No. Okay. Or they might be like, who is he? They're waiting for a name that they recognize.
Exactly. It's the story of my life.
Story of your life. All right. Well, this has been incredibly underwhelming, Rory. I expected more from you. You're a very interesting guy.
I wish you had warned me you were calling. I'm like legit putting my kids to bed.
Well, that's not the fun of this particular segment. The segment's fun because no one knows that they're going to get roped into a 5-minute conversation with me.
Oh.
Yeah. So going forward, try to always be entertaining no matter who's calling at what time for whatever reason. Always live on the edge, buddy.
Nobody calls anymore. Can you text me next time? We'll have a text conversation over your podcast.
No, because exactly. The listeners will just like that's all. All right, buddy. Well, I'll let you go. Put your kids to bed. They're going to need sleep, I think. I don't know. Any closer news about your car or your home?
No, just home. Back in the home at by 11. Or sorry, sorry, I'm sending you things at once here.
Okay.
Back in the home by April. So just chilling until then. And I picked out a bathtub today. If that is exciting for you.
Well, it's not for me. It's what's exciting for you. This is these touch and go segments. I let my listeners hear us catch up. You picked out a bathtub?
Yeah.
Does it have any cool features besides a drain?
It's not at all. Hey, how about I call you back in like 15 minutes? How's that work?
Not even necessary, pal. I gotta keep chugging away with this podcast, but I'll bug you again soon. Get your kids to bed, and we'll learn the exciting elements of your life another time. I'll touch base with you in a day or two, and we'll hang out.
Word. Sounds good.
Later, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh man, nobody's as fun as me on the fly. I don't know what people could expect from me if someone just called me. I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "What do you want?" You know what? I think I could feign funny. I think I could do that. Not to say that Rory should be. He's got a bunch of shit going on. But I think if someone just called me, they'd be like, what the fuck do you want? I'd probably just make some stupid penis joke about how I was masturbating to make them uncomfortable talking to me. Because I would imagine I'm the most odd person in general. You know, like me calling and trying to make people in the spot. They're like, I don't know, what's going to weird Josh out? Probably nothing. So yeah, there you go. Another touch and go in the fucking books. What do I got going on this week, guys? I got to touch base. Joey and I are planning. Joey Elias, of course, my buddy. I got a big shout out. Joey Elias was my host this last week. Leonard Chan was my feature. Fuck, they are both so fucking funny. They made me work hard just being so goddamn funny in front of me this week. Huge hats off to them. So Joey and I are supposed to do brunch, whatever. We're gonna do food tomorrow. And then I'd like to see if I can get him to do the podcast. I'd love to do an interview. I tried to get Joey last time he was in town and we just couldn't make it work. I think last time he actually had a back injury and was just like, dude, I'm laying down. I don't think I can sit up for a while. So, yeah. So Joey, fuck, we're going to eat and try to get a bonus episode for you guys that I'll have available for Friday. If that's the case, if I get the bonus episode there, then I know what I'm doing with my day tomorrow. Edit, put up. And then I got LCBO promos all fucking week. That's the only thing I have on the docket. And I'm excited about that. Guys, contact theonemanpodcast.com if you want to send me any emails. Let me know what's going on with you. I would absolutely love that. Thank you to my sponsors, portablepress.com, absolutecomedy.ca, summersbydk.com/ca, DK Books, of course. And feel free to follow us, like us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, One Man Podcast, and you will find me on those platforms. Not to mention, subscribe on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music. Those are great. If you don't mind, please give me a 5-star rating and leave a small review. It doesn't cost you anything. And again, helping to get our name out there, it's really important, guys. I know I ask you every week, and I'm not trying to browbeat you, but for the love of God, if you could just take 2 minutes and do that. If you're driving now, I get it. Don't pull over and do it. I know I wouldn't, but for God's sakes, if you're listening at home, cooking or something, just take a step away and just open up your application and just leave that face showing so that when next time you grab your phone, you can scroll down and hit 5 stars, and just write a little like, hey, funny dude. I like listening to this bastard run his fucking mouth, and ruin his friends' lives when he calls them. So, I'd appreciate that. It means a lot and it helps me more, just to get noticed so that I'm not just wasting my fucking life chasing this stupid dream. Sorry, I'm sure you guys can hear me clicking away. I got an X-Acto knife. I'm fidgeting. All right. That'll do. That'll do, pig. More news as it comes on the whole SiriusXM Canada Laughs, Just for Laughs, Howie Mandel takeover, hostile takeover. The giant layoff, the great stand-up comedy depression of 2019. I was telling myself 2019 would be my year to do Just for Laughs. And as comics, we all seem to be boycotting. Again, check out the hashtag Just for Money, just to get an idea of what is going on. And you might find yourself really, really appalled. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope you have a great week. I can't wait to have some fun stories for you. And to hear what you guys got going on. All right. One last time, contact at onemanpodcast.com. Send me whatever the fuck you want, and I will read it. I will talk to you guys next week.